DW1 first claimed that there was no bounty, that he did not commit the murder for money. He did it under duress and magically changed his story. They realized what he was saying was cap, probably when the SSI removed the allegation that Diddy actually paid the bounty.
So there's a rumor that OTF Vonnie is cooperating.
Lil Durk and Vonnie crossed him for some money. But I feel like Durk actually, he had a damn good chance to get out.
Lil Durk is out here fighting for his entire future right now, and the energy around this case is getting more intense by the day. The streets are buzzing, commentary channels are fired up, and a wave of speculation is spreading fast, all pointing toward one thing. Something inside Durk's circle is shifting. This isn't your regular street drama. This is a story about pressure, loyalty, and how fast things can fall apart when a federal spotlight hits a tight inner circle. And every single day, the situation gets a little more chaotic. Online sources and commentators began raising eyebrows after Durk and his co-defendants appeared in court recently because one familiar face was suddenly missing from the lineup. At first, people chalked it up to a simple scheduling issue or maybe some basic court delay, but the rumors didn't stop there. Some platforms claimed the individual might have been moved to a different location, possibly even transferred out of state. Now, none of this has been officially confirmed by the government, but the online chatter surrounding it created a massive shockwave through Durk's fan base. Picture the scene. Durk, Diddy Boogie, and the rest of the team sitting inside that courtroom facing serious allegations and trying to hold it together, while one name that's been connected to the situation is suddenly nowhere to be seen. The timing alone was enough to spark a storm of questions. And when commentators started discussing the possibility that this person's role in the case might be changing, the internet lit up instantly.
I've said quite a few times on this channel that I personally think, in my personal, honest, own, personal, just me, not trying to get sued opinion, is that Lil Durk is perhaps cooked. He is perhaps overly cooked. He's perhaps grilled, charbroiled perhaps. But realistically, a lot of people think that I'm capping. A lot of people think I've got the wrong opinion.
People are saying things like, when someone disappears during a high-profile federal case, there's usually a reason. And what made it even crazier is that Vonnie wasn't just some background figure. According to public information and years of footage, he was known to be close to King Von, and he had deep access to Durk's world. Private flights, business conversations, financial dealings, the kind of access only trusted people ever get. But here's where the twist hits. Commentators and insiders have said for a long time that he never fully matched the typical street pressure mentality. He was described as smooth, calculated, more business-minded than street-minded, someone who could negotiate, manage money, and play angles, but maybe wasn't built for the intense loyalty tests that come when federal heat shows up. And that's exactly why online analysts are calling him the type of person who might struggle the moment things get heavy. Social media and YouTube commentary channels have pointed out that people with business backgrounds often understand timelines, transactions, and behind-the-scenes logistics far more clearly than most do, which makes them valuable pieces in complicated cases. And because of that, Vonnie has suddenly become the center of non-stop conversations, rumors, breakdown videos, and endless speculation all over the internet right now.
This situation's gotten, well, I don't know. You would say it got more dicey, but you don't really know what's happening right now because you're just hearing a bunch of stuff, but it hasn't been confirmed. So there's the rumor that OTF Vonnie is cooperating.
Yep.
But this is where the story takes a darker turn. Way darker. Some online discussions and commentary channels claim that before all this legal chaos even started, there were already serious tensions behind the scenes. Accusations, rumors, and family disputes that painted a complicated picture. According to these online reports, some family members of King Von had concerns about large financial movements happening after Von passed. Certain commentators say they believe money may have been accessed or transferred in ways that raised a lot of questions within the family. Nothing in this part has been confirmed in court, But these allegations spread fast across social media.
So here you say right here, if that doubt eliminating discovery existed, the government would certainly have cited to it in its oppression, yet it does not. Indeed, nowhere does the discovery set forth anything resembling a fixed or coherent theory of the time, place, and circumstances of the bounty, allegations, or at the direction of the allegations. On the contrary, the discovery reveals government witnesses who are consistently changing their story.
Especially after a few relatives publicly claimed they had proof something wasn't right. Those claims alone sent fans into a frenzy. Some of Von's family members even said they tried to warn Durk at the time, telling him that something felt off and that certain transactions needed to be looked at more closely. But according to the commentary around this situation, Durk didn't distance himself immediately. Maybe because of loyalty, maybe because he didn't believe the accusations. Either way, the story made people online look at the situation differently. Not as some desperate move, but as something calculated, done by someone with access, opportunity, and a level of trust that most people never get. And that's what made this twist so disturbing to fans and commentators. The idea that the biggest threat to Durk might have been standing right next to him the whole time.
So Vonnie's dad is saying that Vonnie never got his money.
The dad is saying that Lil Durk and Vonnie crossed him. He's saying that his son and them crossed him out of the money. Like the money he stole from Von, he didn't give him no money, that he stole all Von money out of his account when he died. He wasn't to testify, and he going all the way with it.
What made the situation even harder for people to process were the claims about the timing of everything. Commentators pointed out that these financial questions supposedly came up while King Von's family was dealing with his passing, a moment when emotions were raw. Durk was grieving his closest friend, and Von's loved ones were trying to hold themselves together. Whether the allegations were true or not, the idea of funds moving during such a painful moment hit the internet like a shockwave. It created a picture that felt cold, calculated, and completely out of step with what Von's family was going through. Online sources even claimed there was footage of suspicious bank activity, which if true, would have been enough for most people to cut ties instantly. But Durk didn't. And to many fans, that became one of the saddest parts of the story, because his loyalty, which has always been one of his strongest traits, might have ended up backfiring on him. Durk didn't see this man as just another associate. He treated him like real family. There's public footage showing them together at Icebox, negotiating jewelry, handling money, moving like a unified team. In one clip from 2021, you can even see him acting like Durk's personal negotiator, holding stacks of cash, debating prices, commanding the room like he was running the entire operation. That level of trust wasn't small. It showed how deeply embedded he was in Durk's inner circle. And that's exactly why these allegations, rumors, and online discussions hit so hard when they resurfaced.
When you making millions, you got millions, you got to write off.
Don't start with that.
This man wasn't treated like some random in the background. He was trusted with serious access to money, travel, luxury, and the type of meetings most people never get close to. Durk put him on jets, brought him into high-level business conversations, and let him move like family. That kind of trust isn't casual, it's earned. Every time they stepped into Icebox, he wasn't just standing around watching. He was negotiating, counting money, and making calls like he understood Durk's entire operation. He moved like someone positioned deep inside the structure, almost like a right-hand financial coordinator, not just a homie hanging out at the studio. But here's the part that stings the most. According to commentary from Von's family, they tried to warn Durk long before things escalated. They claimed they saw signs, had concerns, and begged him to distance himself. But Durk chose loyalty, the same loyalty people always praise him for. And now, that loyalty may have left him exposed. And the situation becomes even heavier once you get into the allegations laid out in the federal indictment. Prosecutors described this individual as someone with a major logistical role in the case. Not a side character, but someone who allegedly helped connect multiple moving parts. According to those documents, the government claims he traveled with Durk from Miami to Los Angeles, and once there, handled a series of logistics connected to the incident. They allege he booked rooms, made purchases, and coordinated movement between different people involved. In the indictment, prosecutors paint him as someone who was deeply involved in planning and organization, a person who allegedly arranged travel, secured materials, and managed key details on the ground. And the paperwork lays out a long list of transactions that investigators believe created a trail. credit card charges, bookings, and other activity that they say connect directly to the planning timeline. Whether these allegations will hold up in court is something only the trial will decide. But on paper, prosecutors describe a figure who was tied to nearly every stage of the operation, from the moment the team landed in LA to the moment everything unfolded.
Yeah, look, it's one thing to say that you're going to do 30 years, and it's another thing to actually do 30 years.
Or a life. And you know you caught. Like, they got him red-handed. Like, if anybody else, if nobody don't get off, he ain't. Him and Diddy, they gone. But I feel like Durk actually, he had a damn good chance to get out.
And what makes this even more damaging is that the feds don't paint him as someone who was just following orders. They claim he made key decisions on his own, choosing the hotel, picking the cars, handling weapon buys to make him a real co-conspirator instead of just a tag along. But that same involvement is exactly what makes him the perfect federal witness, because he knows every single detail of how the operation allegedly went down. The fact that Vonnie used F credit cards for all these moves shows either wild carelessness or bold arrogance. Maybe he thought nobody would ever trace the charges. Or maybe he was already thinking ahead, planning to cooperate and making sure there was a paper trail that pointed at everyone else while giving him leverage to trade when things went bad. Either way, it's messy. But what makes this situation even more dangerous is this. Vonnie wasn't just involved. He was right there for everything. He was on that jet with Durk. He heard every conversation. He watched the plans being made. He knows exactly what role everybody allegedly played. And now, it sounded like he's ready to walk into that courtroom and lay it all out for the feds.
If, and that's a big, fat, enormous 400-pound if, the government doesn't clap back in a powerful way. But if the government does clap back in a way that I think they might clap back, it will be over for Lil Durk and he will be fully cooked like a rotisserie chicken.
The government built this whole case around the idea that this was a coordinated operation stretching across multiple states with multiple people involved. And Vinny's testimony could tie all of those moving parts together in a way regular evidence never could. He can tell the jury not just what happened, but why it happened and who made the key decisions. Vinny's reportedly pushing for a 25-year plea deal in exchange for testifying against Lil Durk. 25 years sounds heavy, but when you're staring at a life sentence in a murder-for-hire case, that's basically a blessing from the government. Trench News even broke down the math. With a 25-year deal, Vinny would walk out around 55, maybe even early 50s if he gets the usual 85% time served for someone who could have easily spent the rest of his life behind bars. That's a deal you don't think twice about. But here's where it turns ice cold. Sources say this wasn't a last-minute decision. They claim Vinny had been doing calculations long before his arrest, figuring out possible sentences and scouting for exit routes just in case things went south. This wasn't someone who cracked after getting caught. He might have been planning this from the beginning. This was someone who had an exit plan from the jump. The fact that he was breaking down every possible charge and sentencing text messages shows this wasn't panic, it was strategy. He knew exactly what he might be facing and exactly what moves he'd need to make to cut his time down. That's not loyalty. That's someone looking out for themselves above everybody else. And Vinny was literally texting people with breakdowns of his charges like he was running a business calculation. Count by count, he analyzed what each charge carried, what the risks were, and how he could reduce the damage. That level of planning shows he was never emotionally tied to the street code or the people standing beside him. He wasn't built on loyalty. He was built on self-preservation. And the fact the federal government is even entertaining a 25-year deal shows just how valuable they think his testimony is. They don't hand out offers like that unless they believe the witness can land a conviction on a bigger name. And in this case, that bigger name is clearly Lil Durk. What makes this entire situation feel ice cold is that Vinny is basically trading Durk's life for his own freedom. While Durk is staring down the possibility of spending the rest of his life behind bars, Vinny is working on a deal that could have him walking out in his 50s with years of freedom ahead of him. That's not mild cooperation. That's a full-blown betrayal of someone who uplifted him, trusted him, and treated him like family. And what makes it even more dangerous for Lil Durk is the fact the feds might not need anyone else to flip. Vinny alone has enough information to seriously damage Durk's entire case. He was on the plane. He handled logistics. He was involved in every part of the planning. He knows it all. He wasn't on the outside looking in. He watched the planning, heard the conversations, and can testify about Durk's alleged involvement in every part of this whole situation. The feds love cases built like this because they don't have to juggle a bunch of cooperators who might trip over each other's stories. They've got one witness who was there from start to finish, and that's all they need. Vinny can walk a jury through the whole timeline, step by step, from the earliest planning stages all the way up to the execution of the plot. And here's what makes it even heavier for Durk. Vinny doesn't come with the same credibility problems other witnesses might show up with. He's not some random street guy with a long rap sheet. He He's King Von's cousin, someone Durk trusted, someone who had access to the most private business. His words hit different. So when Vinny gets on that stand and tells the jury Durk personally told him to coordinate this hit, that's gonna land hard. The defense can try to attack him by bringing up the stolen money from Von, but that might actually make him look even more believable, like someone with nothing left to protect, nobody left to impress, and no reason to shield Durk anymore. That kind of witness is dangerous. And the federal play here is simple, but deadly. Fabulous starting off. They don't need to prove Durk pulled the trigger, or even that he was physically in Los Angeles. All they need is evidence showing he was part of the conspiracy, and Vinny can reportedly give that in brutal detail. Federal conspiracy charges are specifically designed to catch the planners, the people who make the calls, provide the resources, and set everything into motion without ever touching a gun. The government doesn't have to prove Durk knew every single detail, only that he played a role and that someone lost their life as a result. Vinny's testimony will likely center on his conversations with Durk, any instructions he claims he received, and the resources he says were provided to make the plot possible. Even if Durk never said the exact words, "Go do this," Vinny can testify about the tone, the timing, the planning, and the alleged intent behind their conversations. And that alone can be enough to lock someone away. Looking back, the red flags were everywhere, loud, obvious, and impossible to miss. The moment money went missing from Von's account, that should have been enough to shut down any future business with Vinny, no questions asked. And the fact that Von's own family stepped up and warned Durk directly should have been a deal breaker by itself. But this is the problem with loyalty in street circles. Sometimes it blinds you to threats sitting right in front of you. Durk was so focused on keeping his circle intact and honoring Von's cousin that he overlooked clear proof that Vinny couldn't be trusted. Trench News had been calling it out for months, saying Vinny was the weak link in this entire case. While the other defendants had reputations to protect and codes they lived by, Vinny didn't have that same grounding. He had the most to lose and the least credibility to stand on, which made him the most likely to flip. And these warning signs weren't subtle at all. Von's family didn't just suspect something was wrong, they had evidence. Security footage, bank records, transaction logs, all showing Vinny moving money out of Von's accounts and into his own pockets. This wasn't some misunderstanding or missing cash that could be blamed for bad bookkeeping. This was documented theft, clear as day. When the family of your deceased best friend tells you someone stole from them, that's supposed to be the end of the situation right there. No history, no loyalty, no excuses should come before that level of betrayal. But Durk ignored those warnings. And that loyalty, something that usually makes him stand out as a solid person, turned into a weakness and Vinny took full advantage of. And the wildest part is that Vinny kept operating inside after all these allegations came out. That shows serious arrogance on his end or serious blind trust on Durk's. Maybe Vinny thought his connection to Von made him untouchable. Or maybe Durk believed that family ties should outweigh everything. But in reality, that decision might be one of the reasons this case is spiraling the way it is. This betrayal goes way deeper than legal trouble. Vinny is tearing down Lil Durk's whole legacy right in front of everyone. Here's an artist who built his entire brand around loyalty, staying solid, and never switching up. Songs like Loyal Bros and all those tracks about standing firm are now being thrown back at him in his face by someone who was sitting in his inner circle the whole time. The irony is brutal. Durk spent years rapping about fake friends and snakes hiding in the grass. But the biggest snake was sitting right beside him, shaking his hand, flying with him, and eating with him. All those lyrics about loyalty and keeping it real hit different now that his own day one is allegedly getting ready to testify against him in federal court. And this whole situation goes beyond a courtroom battle. It's tearing down Lil Durk's whole legacy right in front of everyone.
A bad background with this real ugly child, about father being incarcerated for 25 years, 26 years. So I had a rough past, but like me moving to Atlanta, I just thought that just changed my whole identity of things.
What really caught people's attention was how the other defendants carried themselves in court. According to reports from people who were present, Didi Boogie and the rest of the crew appeared surprisingly calm, laughing, talking, staying relaxed, even though they're all facing the kind of charges that could change their lives forever. To outsiders, that might look confusing, but some believe it means they're confident in their strategy. Others think they simply refuse to show fear in public. Or maybe they believe the testimony being talked about online won't be as damaging as the internet predicts. Meanwhile, the absence of one individual continues to fuel speculation. Anytime someone involved in a federal case is moved, adjusted, or handled differently, the rumor mill immediately jumps to conclusions, especially online, where every action is magnified. Another major twist came when reports surfaced that the judge approved an anonymous jury. That's a serious step. Federal courts only do that when they feel the case demands extra security. And whether intended or not, it sends a message right from the start. This is not a normal trial. For the defense, that creates a difficult atmosphere. When jurors believe their identities need protection, it can quietly influence how they see the people on trial before a single argument is even made. It shapes the mood in the courtroom in a way that's nearly impossible to erase. Looking at the bigger picture, this case shines a harsh spotlight on the collision between hip-hop success and the streets artists are trying to escape. It shows how fame and danger can overlap, how past loyalties follow people into their future, and how hard it is to walk away when emotions, pride, and loss collide. Lil Durk had everything lined up: mainstream success, millions, global recognition, and a platform powerful enough to inspire change. But according to commentators, the emotional weight of King Von's death, combined with loyalty and street pressure, may have pulled him into situations that don't match the life he worked to build. And now, the same person who was once trusted like family is at the center of rumors about cooperation. If those rumors are true, it represents the ultimate betrayal. Someone Durk lifted up may now be preparing to stand across from him in a courtroom. This goes beyond a legal battle. It cuts into the heart of Durk's image, loyalty, brotherhood, and standing solid. The irony is brutal. The biggest threat may have come from the same place he showed the most love. And that's the part hitting fans the hardest. How do you recover when someone you brought into success, someone tied to your closest people, might be preparing to testify against you? It's a reminder that in this world, loyalty is fragile. Sometimes the closest ones are the ones who can tear your life apart the fastest. The feds have built a serious case. If the cooperating witness rumors are true, they have someone with inside knowledge who can walk through the timeline, connect decisions, and explain the structure of the alleged conspiracy. Durk's legal team will get their chance to fight back, challenge the narrative, and expose inconsistencies. But no matter what, this is shaping up to be one of the toughest battles of his entire life. And even though we've broken this story down piece by piece, the truth is, this case is still unfolding. Nothing is final, no testimony has been seen publicly, the court has yet to hear the full picture, and the outcome is far from decided. One thing is clear: this entire situation is a warning about trust, loyalty, and ignoring red flags. Because sometimes the people standing closest to you are the same ones who can shake your entire world.